In Ukraine, a crowd is enjoying a concert in an opera house when suddenly a group of masked men appears on stage and starts smashing the instruments while shooting people. Soon, the Ukrainian special forces arrive at the same time as some CIA agents, including JN. His team rushes inside with a clear goal to rescue an American VIP and a special packet. Using fake uniforms, Jones' team blends in with the special forces as they connect gas tanks to the vents to make everyone on the main stage fall asleep. Then, the team starts searching the VIP booths, and John finds his target, so he quickly takes down a couple of guards before telling the guy the password to confirm they're on the same side. There are shooters coming down the corridor, so John grabs the man, and they jump through the window using a rope. The VIP then sits among the sleeping people to act like he's just a random person, while John rejoins the team only to notice a Ukrainian agent setting up a bomb. John tells one of his men to protect the VIP while he grabs the bomb and runs to the coat station where his contact has hidden the special package. Once he finds the metal box, he runs to the maintenance room to reunite with his team and the VIP, who tells them about a secret tunnel. One of the agents changes clothes with him as part of their cover. While most of the team escorts the VIP out through that tunnel, John and the teammate in disguise run back to the main room to collect the rest of the bomb. Suddenly, a Ukrainian soldier points a gun at him, and to Joan's shock, the hole in the ground disappears, and the bullet that caused it flies back, killing the soldier and entering the gun of a new man. This guy quickly leaves, and Joan notices a red string on his backpack. Next, John puts all the bombs in a bag and throws them into the upper seats before he and his teammate run to the entrance, leaving the opera house right before the bombs explode. The duo gets into the back of a van, and Joan's teammate immediately gets shot in the leg because the Ukrainians can tell he isn't the right guy. Moments later, John and his friend get tortured in a train yard for information. The Ukrainian takes the poison capsule that John is hiding in his clothes, but his friend still has one left. Joan falls to grab it with his mouth, quickly bites it, and passes out. Sometime later, John wakes up on a medical bed inside a ship. A high-ranking CIA agent explains that the capsule never had cyanide, only a sedative. It was just a way to test Joan's loyalty to his country. Now, Joan has been chosen for a secret mission, yet the only information they give him is the code word Tenet. When a mechanic's ferry passes by, John pretends to be one of them and sneaks onto their boat so he can return to land. After stealing a car, he goes to a lab in the city and meets with Laura, who recognizes the code word. Laura explains they're trying to prevent World War III and that it could be worse than a nuclear holocaust. Then, Laura gives John an empty gun, and when he shoots it, a bullet goes back into the weapon. Laura also makes a bullet jump into her hand and explains she is studying reversed objects. These things have their movement flipped in the future and move backward through time. Joan makes a bullet go into his hand too, and Laura records it to show him the video, pointing out that from the bullet's point of view, he dropped. Joan practices with the reversed gun while Laura tells him that all the items she studies were sent from the future. They found all kinds of parts from complex machines that suggest a huge war will happen. Joan wants to know who is dealing the reversed guns and travels to Mumbai, where he meets with British operative Neil. Together, they make a plan to sneak into the home of a dangerous arms dealer. In the evening, the duo gets on the roof of a neighboring building and uses bungee cords to make a big jump, landing on the walls of the dealer's home. They run up and sneak in through the balcony, where they quickly take out a bunch of guards before jumping on the dealer himself. Joan holds him at gunpoint as he asks about the reversed ammo, but it's the man's wife, Priya, who knows about Tenet. She informs him that the dealer behind the reversed ammo is a Russian oligarch, Andrei, who knows how to communicate with the future. At that moment, the police arrive, so Neil and Jayan jump out of the building using the same cord. In London, Joan shares lunch with an agent from British intelligence. The man explains that the best way to get close to Andrei would be through his wife, Kat, in her art gallery. Kat authenticated a fake Goya painting made by her friend Thomas, and Andrei bought it. But when he found out the truth, he started blackmailing Kat into becoming his partner. The agent gives John a new fake Goya so he can get a meeting. Later, Jayan meets Kat and shows her the painting, saying he got it from Thomas. They end up having dinner together, and Kat explains she hadn't known the painting was a fake when she authenticated it. Andrei abuses her, and Kat would love to escape, but they have a son, and she can't leave him behind. Kat also reveals that Andrei brutalized Thomas, so she knows John is lying. Joan promises to retrieve the drawing Andrei is using to blackmail her if she gets him a meeting with her husband. Suddenly, Andrei's thugs arrive and take Kat away. Joan tries to leave through the kitchen and finds more thugs, but he has no trouble beating them all up in minutes using random kitchen objects. The next day, John shows up at Kat's son's school. Kat informs Joan that the drawing is being held in a free port in Oslo, where Andre's company does business without detection from the law. Soon, Neil shows up at the free port while pretending to be an interested businessman. And during the tour, he learns that in the case of fire, the interior doors of the vault room revert to their factory setting, making them weak to lock picking. However, the oxygen in that room will be sucked out because the company uses gas instead of sprinklers. John and Neil agree the best plan is to crash a plane into the free port to trigger the lockdown. They hire pilot Mahir, who brings his own team along. The duo goes to the free port as businessmen and pretend they want to leave something in the vault, so an employee takes them there. Meanwhile, Mahir's team puts a bunch of workers to sleep to take over a plane. As Mahir gets the plane moving, his men drop hundreds of gold bricks to distract any watchers and trick the incoming police. Once the plane has gained speed, the team sneaks out and lets it crash right into the building, causing a huge explosion. In the vault, the gas is being released, and the employee immediately runs away. Neil and Joan hold their breath while taking their hidden tools from their briefcase, picking the lock to open the door. They move around the vault, picking different locks while trying to stay ahead of the gas. Eventually, they enter a special corridor that takes them to Andre's private vault, where they cross a blue and a red door. The duo finds themselves on different sides of the same room, separated by a glass wall with bullet holes in it. On the floor, John notices a bunch of guns and realizes this hasn't happened yet. Suddenly, a thick revolving door spins on both sides, and men in SWAT uniforms come out. Neil is simply pushed as the guy runs off, so he follows him. Neil manages to jump on the man and remove his helmet, only to be shocked by what he sees. At the same time, the other soldier attacks John, and they get into a fight during which the attacker keeps calling the reversed guns to his hand to get back the bullets from the glass. This man moves in a rather strange way, and John realizes he's reversed too. After lots of struggle, John manages to overpower him and gets the gun ready to shoot, but Neil arrives to stop him. John tries to ask for information, however. The door opens, and the reversed man slides backward outside. A broken plane engine causes a second explosion. At that moment, the paramedics arrive, so Neil and John pretend to be unconscious. The next day, John meets with Priya again. She explains the revolving door must have been an inversion machine known as a turnstile. The technology hasn't been invented yet. Someone sent it to Andre from the future. The terrorists at the opera house were sent by Andre, who wanted the plutonium from the metal box John saw. Now the plutonium is in the hands of the Ukrainian forces, who will be moving it in a week. Joan wants to kill Andre, but Priya tells him to wait until they can learn what's going on, since it seems the present is being attacked by the future. Afterward, John meets with Kat and tells her the drawing has been destroyed, so now she must arrange the meeting with Andre. That night, Joan is invited to a dinner party, and he finally meets Andre, who thinks John is having an affair with Kat. He threatens Joan and signals the guards to take him away. However, JN mentions opera, and Andre agrees to a private meeting the next day. In the morning, Andre reveals to Kat that his men retrieved the drawing before the fire reached it, so he still has power over her. Then they go sailing with John, who shares his knowledge of the plutonium box to win Andre over. During a sudden turn of the boat, Kat releases Andre's harness to make him fall, but John needs him for the plan, so he dives in to save him. The movie ends. Thanks for watching.